Okay, so I'm doing this thing for myself, and I've been a little reluctant to be extremely vocal about it just because of what the stigma that's still kind of behind it. But I'm kind of getting over that because the more I talk about it, the more people I talk to about it, the more I'm finding out that they think it's kind of fun and kind of cool, and the more I'm hearing other people are doing it as well, and the less negativity that I'm not getting as much of a. I'm not getting the reaction like I thought I was going to get when I started telling people. So I'm just going to start talking about it, but at the same time, I want to kind of chronicle the journey because I've never really done that before, and I didn't really do that when I started my weight loss journey in 2015. When I started out weighing 300 pounds, and I lost 110 pounds in, I think it was a little over a year, not quite a year and a half. So this journey I want to chronicle. I'm 2 weeks past due as it is. So I'll just start at the beginning of the story. So I've always been a big girl. I've always been heavy. But it wasn't until 2004 is when I really started putting on weight. And well, actually, no, it was 2005 because that's when I started having symptoms of hypothyroidism, and that was when I was officially diagnosed, and that's when I really started putting on weight. And I ballooned. I gained over 100 pounds in 10 years. Yeah, it was about 10 years. And fortunately, it took me 10 years to put on that 100 plus pounds, and it took me just over a year to get rid of it. But I'm still not where I want to be regarding my health. And it's been 2.5 years since I started the journey, and I've really struggled the last year and a half, just about a year and a half now. But anyway, I've always been a big girl, and I've always, not always, but for a long time, a number of years, been really kind of curious about pole dancing. Because I remember seeing Carmen Electra create exercise videos to learn how to pole dance and lap dance and all that kind of stuff, and I just thought it was interesting. And I don't know, it's just something that was always in the back of my mind that I'd always wanted to give it a shot. I think it might be fun, and it would be something that I might be able to use for my future husband, just to kind of spice things up in the bedroom. And but I never really did anything about it because I always thought bigger girls just can't. There's no way bigger girls could do that. Plus the fact that I've never had much upper body strength, so how in the world was I ever going to be able to climb a pole? Anyway, so I just kind of put it in the back of my mind for a number of years, and then it was sometime at the beginning of this year, 2018. I think it was February or March. I watched some kind of documentary about this pole dance competition in Australia, or maybe it was pole dance competitors from Australia, and the documentary just followed them. I can't remember. I just know they were Australian pole dancers. That much I know. But I want to say the competition was in Vegas. But anyway, I think I stumbled upon it on Netflix. It was either Netflix or Hulu. I can't remember because that's my TV. I don't have regular TV. And so I watched it, and I was like, this is pretty interesting. Like, these girls treat it like a sport. And watching what goes into these routines and what they do to prepare for competition, and looking at their physiques and how beautiful their bodies are, I was just like, I live in a city. Like, there's got to be something around here. So I Googled pole dance, uh, something regarding pole dance for the Grand Rapids, Michigan area. Sure enough, there is a dance studio in the area called Flirt Fitness. And they do more than just pole dancing, but it started with that and it's just kind of grown from there. But they specialize in pole dance. And so I looked into it, I went to the website, was looking into it, and was reading the website, going through everything. And in May, I inquired about an intro class because I procrastinated on doing it. And I finally got around and did it in May. So I went in. It was the last Thursday of May. I'd have to look and see what the date was because it was just a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so I went in and had my intro class. The cool thing about this studio is you get to take an intro class, and if you like it, you can sign up and take the full course. If you don't like it, that's fine. You pay the one class fee, you're done. So, I went and I did the intro class and I loved it. Of course, I kind of figured I would. But let me tell you what, it's work. I have never worked my core or my upper body like that in my entire life, ever. It takes me, each week it takes me about 4 days to recover, and last week was my second class, and last week was the worst of the two so far. I wound up having a bad blister on my left foot, and it was right at the part where my foot bends, just on the outside. So it's like where most of your weight goes on your foot, and it had split open. Oh my word. It hurt so bad. It took 3 days for that to heal. So I was limping for 3 days, and one of the tricks that we learned last Thursday, well, we learned the trick the first night, but we learned how to do a variation of the trick last week. And the one variation we learned, I ended up hitting the pole really hard with my thigh, and I wound up with the nastiest bruise ever. That is no, and that looks better than it did when it first happened. I hit it hard, like, and I did it a couple of times, and I had a welt right there as well, and it hurt, and I don't bruise easy. So the fact that bruised that bad, and like I said, how it looks right now is better than, looks a lot better than it did. And so basically, my point is this class is no joke. Like, you work, it is hard. I've been in pain after every class, but it's good. It feels kind of good and I always leave class feeling good. Like, it's fun. Like, I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. The next thing I need to do is take some pictures of my body because the instructor said that we will notice a change in our body. People notice changes in their flexibility. They notice changes in their how toned they become, all the kinds of stuff. My instructor is a bodybuilder. And the first night when I walked in class and I saw her, and I was just like, what? And then, when we got to introduce ourselves, she told us a little about herself. And after class, I walked up to her and I was like, can I just tell you that I just really admire your physique? She's this short little petite woman. But she's something fierce, and she's really cool, like her. But she was saying that she's been a bodybuilder for years, but when it wasn't until she started taking pole classes herself is when her body just went to the next level. She's like, she worked muscles that she never worked before. So I was just like, interesting. So I was really excited about that. She's really cool. So got another class tonight. slightly nervous about it just because I hurt my middle finger on my left hand last week trying to do tricks on my non-dominant hand. And so I'm hoping that it's fine this week, not to mention where the blister was on my foot, my left foot last week. I mean, it's healed now. It's still, if I put just enough pressure on it, it's still a little tender, but not too bad. So I'm hoping it's going to be fine. But I fell off the pole last week because if you don't wipe your pole down enough, you don't get that oil, the oil from your skin off frequently enough, you will lose your grip. So that's exactly what happened to me. My pole had a little bit too much of the oil from my hand on there, and I was trying to spin around the pole, and off I went onto my butt. Fortunately, it was my butt, and it wasn't too far from the ground. So I was kind of anticipating it was going to happen at some point. Just not necessarily second class. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I'm having a lot of fun, and I think it's another cool way to just kind of get out there and meet new people. One thing that I really like about this place is they're all about women empowering women. So, like, one of the things that I was worried about was with me being a bigger girl, perception and all that kind of stuff. And you don't get that vibe from the students or the instructors. They are like everybody, because there are girls as big as me that go there. There's girls that are bigger than me that go there. So like it literally is, the atmosphere is really awesome. Not to mention, I don't feel like I'm on display. That was another thing. You know, when reading the website, they specifically talk about how classes are done in low light, and it's not large classes, so you have that feeling of intimacy where it's a little bit more private. You don't. The intention is so you don't feel like you're on display, because it's not about like, you know, pole dancing became really popular because, you know, strip clubs. I get that, but it's become mainstream as a way of exercise. But not only that, it's also a way for women to, you know, feel good about themselves. Not for the world to know, but, you know, for them to know for themselves, and, you know, for something for them at home. And so the way the studio owner, founder and owner, how she has it set up is just, I think it's really cool. Very, like, you can't see in the windows of the studio. That way, like, it's very private. The dance classes are small, so they're not very large rooms, and so it has that more intimate, private feeling. They're done. The lighting is very dim. They use because they have high voltage ceilings, obviously, because the poles have to go pretty high. And so they have chandeliers in the studios, and they're dimmable, and they dim the lights down pretty low at the beginning when we do the meditation and warm-up session. And during class, the instructor will pull them up a little so we can see a little bit better. But it's not like it's bright lights and, you know, you're feeling like all of you is being seen. It's not that. It's very, very intimate and very private. So I like that. I feel very comfortable when I'm there. And yeah, so it's really cool. And I really think that more and more people should get into doing it. And there's I think if I remember correctly, there's 10 levels. And so I'm hoping to stick through it for each level. I'm looking forward to it, see how far I can get.